All right, GCSE students, buckle up. We're diving into the mind of Mr. Birling from an inspector calls. And trust me, it's a wild ride. Think of him as the ultimate boomer capitalist, the kind of guy who'd unironically say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps while owning a boot factory. Here's our man, Arthur Birling, giving off major OK boomer energy since 1912. We're breaking down his most iconic quotes, analyzing why they're so cringe, and how they perfectly embody Priestley's critique of early 20th century society. Quote number one is peak individualism. This is Berling's entire life philosophy in one sentence. It's basically the Victorian equivalent of, I got mine, good luck getting yours. Priestley uses this to show how capitalism promotes selfishness over community responsibility. This quote screams main character syndrome. Birling genuinely believes everyone should just focus on themselves. It's Priestley showing us exactly what's wrong with unchecked capitalism. Zero empathy, zero community spirit, just pure selfishness. Quote number two is pure dramatic irony gold. Birling confidently declares the Titanic unsinkable. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. This aged like milk left in the sun. Priestley wrote this in 1945, so the audience knows exactly how wrong Birling is. This quote is Priestley's way of making Birling look like a complete fool. The audience in 1945 knows the Titanic sank, so they're immediately thinking, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. It destroys any credibility Birling might have had. Quote number three shows Birling's attitude toward workers. Eva Smith asked for a tiny pay rise and Birling fired her. His logic? If you give workers what they want, they'll keep asking for more. It's giving major, how dare the peasants want living wages energy. This quote exposes Birling's fear that workers might actually demand fair treatment. He sees Eva Smith and other workers as these people, not even human beings deserving of basic dignity. It's classic capitalist exploitation disguised as business sense. Quote number four is Birling literally calling community spirit nonsense. He's comparing socialism to bees in a hive, like it's a bad thing. Imagine thinking cooperation and looking out for each other is somehow wrong. Peak individualist energy right here. Birling genuinely thinks working together for the common good is ridiculous. He's basically saying, why should I care about anyone else? This is Priestley showing us the toxic mindset that leads to social problems. The inspector represents everything Birling hates: collective responsibility and caring about others. Quote number five is basically Birling saying, okay, boomer, but in reverse. He's mocking his own children for having social awareness and empathy. The irony is that Sheila and Eric are actually right, and Birling is the one who knows nothing about real responsibility. This quote perfectly captures the generational divide in the play. Birling thinks he's wise and experienced, but he's actually the one who's clueless. Sheila and Eric represent hope for change, while Birling represents everything that needs to be left in the past. It's the ultimate okay boomer moment. Remember for your GCSE exam, Mr. Birling represents everything Priestley thinks is wrong with society. He's selfish, ignorant, and refuses to change. Understanding these quotes and what they reveal about his character is key to analyzing Priestley's social message. These quotes show capitalism at its worst, and that's exactly what Priestley wanted us to see. Time to break down Birling's greatest hits, and by greatest, I mean most problematic. These quotes are basically the Victorian equivalent of toxic tweets that aged like milk. First up, we have Birling's personal motto: a man has to mind his own business and look after himself. This is basically the Victorian version of, I got mine, good luck getting yours. It's his live, laugh, love, but make it capitalist and completely heartless. Next, we have this absolute banger. If you don't come down hard on these people, they'll be asking for the world. Birling really said, workers wanting fair wages? Absolutely not on my watch. This is giving major let them eat cake energy, but with extra steps. Now for some premium dramatic irony. Fiddlesticks, the Germans don't want war. Nobody wants war. This quote hits different when you know World War I is literally around the corner. Birling really said this aged well before it was even a thing. Here's Birling being the ultimate corporate dad. Now you have brought us together. And perhaps we may look forward to a time when Crofts and Burlings are working together for lower costs and higher prices. He really turned his daughter's engagement into a business merger. That's some next level capitalism right there. And finally, the crown jewel of dramatic irony: unsinkable, absolutely unsinkable. Burling talking about the Titanic like he's the ship's personal hype man. This quote is basically Priestley's way of saying this man's judgment is questionable at best. So there you have it, Burling's greatest hits collection. Each quote reveals a different layer of his problematic personality: the individualism, the classism, the overconfidence, and the complete lack of social awareness. Remember these quotes and what they represent, and you'll ace any question about Burling's character in your GCSE exam.